Top 15 wrestlers who wouldn't get any action if they weren't famous.
If you are brand new to our channel, we invite you to take a moment to subscribe. Just click on the lit red button as well as the gray bell. Why the bell? Well, it will let you know every time we post a new video.
15.
Braun Strowman. For the past year, Braun Strowman has been raising hell on Monday Night Raw by taking out its top stars. Although he started off as a monster heel, fans' reaction have warmed up to him, and one could say that he is a face now. Despite his dominance in the ring, as well as his large figure, Strowman isn't exactly a ladies' man. You can't even find a single photo of his dates, so he might be struggling to get a date now that he's famous too. He also had a Tinder account in the past under his real name, so it's unlikely that there are any groupies out there for him. It would have been even tougher for him if he hadn't been a WWE superstar. That Superman logo tattooed on his arm has probably turned off plenty of women as well, not to mention that his beard could use a significant trim.
14.
Rey Mysterio. In an industry where men are expected to be tall and built, Rey Mysterio has defied all odds by becoming one of the most popular superstars of all time. He has had a Hall of Fame career with numerous titles and classic matches to his name. But Mysterio managed to pull all that off with his legendary mask, which has become his signature over the years. Although being short didn't hold him back from reaching the top, you were never going to see him unmasked. Ever since his days in WCW, Mysterio, as well as the company, tried to hide the face behind the mask at all costs. To this day, he still doesn't attend public events without it. Although he is mainly popular with kids, he did have groupies back in the day, but he probably kept the mask on, even when he was around them.
13.
Tamina. At the age of 39 years old, it seems unlikely that Tamina will be able to have a memorable run in the WWE. The women's division is arguably the strongest it has ever been, and the majority of them outshine her in every category, from talents, mixed skills, and appearance. It's been said that she has only made it to the WWE for being the daughter of Hall of Famer Jimmy Snuka. Many never received the opportunity that Tamina did, but she failed to make the best out of it. For years, women were strictly judged based on their looks. While that has somewhat changed today, it's still very important, but the difference is they actually have talent to go with their attractive features. The same can't be said about Tamina, who isn't a draw with men, not for her in-ring skills, and certainly not for her looks. But making it to the big league has certainly made her hotter in the eyes of most.
12.
Jinder Mahal. For the past couple months, Jinder Mahal had been ruling SmackDown as the WWE champion until he dropped the belt to AJ Styles on Tuesday. He essentially went from being a jobber who got squashed by different wrestlers to being on top of the wrestling business, and it all happened overnight. His quick push has gained him plenty of haters, since most people believed that he only became a champion to appeal to the Indian market. His in-ring talent, as well as his mixed skills, left plenty to be desired, while his look wasn't that of a superstar. Although he is ripped, fans have also criticized his body, with many accusing him of being unnatural. While most WWE stars tend to have groupies, you won't find any for Jinder Mahal. There's no doubt that has changed to an extent, and he has become a more attractive figure in recent times, thanks to his ongoing push.
11.
Hulk Hogan. Hulk Hogan is arguably the biggest name in wrestling history, dominating the industry during the 80s as a face, and then against in the 90s as a heel. He remained extremely popular in the 2000s up until the leaked tape, where he made racist remarks, leading to WWE cutting him off. While Hogan has retained some of his fanbase, it has undoubtedly diminished since then. Even when Hogan was at the top of his game, he was never what someone would consider a sex icon. His unique look worked perfectly for his wrestling persona, but he would have probably been laughed at if he wasn't a celebrity. From the hair to the mustache, Hogan didn't exactly strike people as an attractive person. Luckily for him, that has never been an issue considering his fame, as he has been involved with several younger women since his divorce.
10.
10. Mark Henry. Mark Henry had a far better run in the WWE than most would have anticipated, with the highlight of his career coming in 2011, when he won the World Heavyweight title against Randy Orton. During the Attitude Era, he wasn't the strongest man in the world, nor was he a dominant force. He was known as Sexual Chocolate, which was your typical failed WWE experiment. It would take him years to recover from the gimmick, since it was more of a joke, rather than a serious persona, considering that he was far from a sex icon. In fact, Henry was the exact opposite of that, and it's for that very reason he fell flat in his initial run. But when you've made as much money as Henry has in his career, you can bet that he never has to worry about getting some.
9.
9. Hornswoggle. For nearly 10 years, he enjoyed a successful run with the WWE that lasted a few years more than it should have. Hornswoggle was involved in some major storylines, which eventually had people turn against him. Standing at 4'6", that alone qualifies Hornswoggle to be on this list. Add in the fact that he has a nasty attitude, it makes him unattractive to the majority of women. During his time with the company, several women had accused him of being rude behind the scenes, with many referring to him as rude. Although he came off as likable during his early years, it appeared that Hornswoggle was the exact opposite, and the locker room eventually grew tired of him. While some women might have been willing to overlook his height, his attitude wouldn't have gotten him much action outside of the ring. But when you have earned money as much as Hornswoggle has, your behavior takes a secondary seat in the eyes of some people.
8.
8. Kane. It's of universal fact that women are more attracted to taller men. That's not to discriminate, since it's not a decisive factor. But Kane is a bit too tall for the majority of women. And even if you were to ignore his build, you can't really overlook the rest of his appearance. There's a reason he wore a mask for the majority of his career, and once he took it off, he began portraying a creepy heel monster. It was never believable when he was involved in a love storyline or worked with another diva, and the results were often disastrous. Thankfully for Kane, being The Undertaker's kayfabe brother made him set for life. He's been with the WWE for more than 20 years, and there will always be a market for a millionaire, regardless of any negatives that one could possibly list.
7.
7. Kevin Owens. Recent rumors claim that Kevin Owens has become difficult to work with in the ring, which has gained him some heat with WWE superstars and officials. If you follow him on Twitter, you have probably already been either roasted or blocked by him, since he has the tendency to go off on fans for the simplest of reasons. As talented as he is inside the ring as well as on the mic, his attitude wouldn't exactly be a turn-on for women if he hadn't been famous. Owens has a gorgeous wife, which has left many wondering how he managed to pull that off. Over the years, he's also been criticized for his body shape, with some trolls shaming him on social media, but Owens has clearly made it work after becoming one of the top superstars in the industry. It goes to show that anything is possible once you make it to WWE.
6.
6. James Ellsworth. It's safe to say that James Ellsworth is nobody's dream man based on shallow standards. He doesn't have the look of a wrestler either, but has somehow managed to make it to the WWE, mainly due to the role he portrays. His debut came as a squash match against Braun Strowman, and what was intended to be a one-time appearance turned into a full-time spot on the roster. The WWE Universe rooted for Ellsworth due to his unique look. He was a likable figure before WWE went out of their way to erase any trace of a babyface. Not only does he look somewhat awkward, but everything else about him gives you that vibe, from his movements to his promos. Having been booked with Carmella as well as other women on SmackDown, it's clear to see how awkward he is around them. Nobody should be surprised to see him on this list.
5.
5. Aiden English. As of 2017, Aiden English has become a familiar name with a decent push on SmackDown. What most will be shocked to learn is that he's the son-in-law of the late Eddie Guerrero. English isn't exactly the most attractive guy, although he is pretty talented. If he wasn't famous, his luck would have been significantly different to what it is today. He has gotten married to Shal Guerrero, who was also training to be a superstar. Although she quit for unknown reasons, things worked out for her since she met English. According to wrestling gossip, WWE officials aren't very high on him, and his future could be in doubt. He's most likely never going to be a major player, since he doesn't appear to have it. A wrestler's look is a major part of the industry, and plenty of wrestlers never advance for that very reason. English is probably going to join that list.
4.
4. Enzo Amore. Enzo's look has definitely worked for him to make him stand out from the rest of the roster. What he lacks within ring talent, he makes up for it with his mic skills. During the first period of his career, Enzo was extremely over with the WWE Universe, before they eventually turned on him after repeatedly cutting the same promo week after week. He has built a reputation for being annoying due to his antics, which happens to be one of the biggest turnoffs for women. Enzo has also heat in the WWE locker room, with most of them avoiding him, which tells you plenty about his personality. When you're on TV and bringing in a hefty income, you're bound to attract more people. But if Enzo wasn't famous, his try-hard ways and annoying attitude would have him rejected by the majority of women.
3.
3. Brock Lesnar. Since 2000, Brock Lesnar has been one of the most important wrestling figures since 2000, dominating the WWE for several years. He has won several world titles and headlined WrestleMania on more than occasion. Not to mention, he ended The Undertaker's undefeated streak at WrestleMania 30, which has only improved his legacy. But unlike some of his peers such as John Cena and Randy Orton, you won't find women screaming when his theme music hits. Although he has been in top shape throughout his run, his face is far from attractive. Being one of the top draws in WWE, he has managed to marry Sable, who is considered to be the hottest diva during the Attitude Era. Lesnar would have had to settle for much less if he wasn't famous, especially when you considered the fact that he's very hard to get along with.
2.
2. Mojo Rawley. It wouldn't be far-fetched to say that Mojo Rawley is one of the least interesting wrestlers in today's WWE. His biggest accomplishment to date came at WrestleMania 33, when he won the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal, after eliminating Jinder Mahal, who had been a jobber at the time. To make matters worse, he only won it due to his friendship with NFL star Rob Gronkowski, who was sitting ringside and interfered in the match. There are several wrestlers who may be easily recognized in public, but Rawley isn't one of them. When you work for WWE, even if you never become one of the top guys, you would have made more than enough money to attract some women. That's about the only thing that Rawley has going on for him, but maybe his friend Gronkowski would have played as his wingman to carry him once again.
1.
1. Sheamus. Not many women would take Sheamus seriously if he was a regular Joe. His haircut choices have even turned off the WWE universe with chants such as "you look stupid" ringing off at every event. It's possible that he would have had a better career if he didn't have such a goofy look. Although he started off his career strongly by competing in the main event, he has mostly spent his time in tag team division in recent times. After being a multiple-time world champion, WWE appears to have given up on him as a main eventer. Perhaps a haircut into tan could advance his wrestling career and improve his chances with the lady. Although he did have the strong build that Vince McMahon loves, he lacked the sex appeal that many main eventers usually have. It's probably what separates him from the likes of Batista and Kevin Nash.
Yeah.